Greetings, Rabbi Griscott here with our daily study of Pirkei Avot for those who have yard site for both today and tonight, the 8th of Sivan and the 9th of Sivan. The yard sites for today: Herman Dubin, Ida Feingold, Anna Glassman, Laura Godler, Shayna Goldman, Paul Kaplan, Rose Kessler, Joseph Kreichman, Eve Turner, Gertrude Wolowski, whose Hebrew name is Gittel Bas Avraham, and Max Zaltzman. And the yard sites for tonight: Abe Bagazlowski, Jesse Friedman, Sarah Goldman, Earl Goodbinder, Bessie Haith, Sam Katz, Hania Kocharov, Harry Kolkin, Gertrude Slabowski, and Jacob Tager. May their memory be for a blessing. A link to the text of the Mishnah will be in the first comment below. We are up to chapter 3, Mishnah 5. Rabbi Nechunya ben Hakana Omer. Rabbi Nechunya ben Hakana says, Kol hamakabel alav ol Torah mavirin mimenu ol malchus v'ol derech eretz. V'chol haporik mimenu ol Torah nosnim alav ol malchus v'ol derech eretz. So, whoever takes upon himself the yoke of Torah, from him are removed the yoke of government and the yoke of worldly care. But whoever casts off the yoke of Torah, upon him are placed the yoke of government and the yoke of worldly care. Okay, so I have to explain what this means. The Kahati quotes opinions that this means that for a certain elite caste of Torah scholars, if you want to study Torah full time, that person should not be taxed. They should be, and they should not have to work. That basically the community supports them. Now, historically, this was a very small cadre of people, a certain elite. The Vilna Gaon, for example, famous Rabbi Elijah of Vilna in the 18th century in Vilna, Lithuania, was a towering scholar who just sat and studied Torah all day, and he wasn't even really the rabbi of Vilna. He didn't have any earthly responsibilities. He wasn't taxed by the community. Local Jewish communities had their own taxes aside from the government, and he was just paid and supported by the community to study Torah all day. But whoever casts off the yoke of Torah, and that could be describing someone who's actually worthy to be such a person, but decides they don't want to, well, then you're going to have to pay taxes and have to get a job. Okay. So now it's very controversial in the modern state of Israel that you have basically all ultra-Orthodox men do this. They study Torah full time, and they don't work and go to the army. And other Israelis complain that it's a drag on the economy. And historically, it was really only a certain elite, as I mentioned, but the ultra-Orthodox after World War II made the argument, well, the Jewish community has been decimated, the world of Torah study has been decimated, and as a sort of emergency measure, we need more people studying Torah now than ever before, so our entire population is going to take that upon themselves. So in this video, I don't have time to get into that debate. Obviously, as is always the case, everyone has sources or ideas they can quote, and it just really comes down to how you organize those sources and what you think personally. But it's interesting that what's the basis of this idea that the yoke of Torah can remove from yourself the yoke of regular worldliness? Well, it says, Kahati quotes the verse in Job and Iyov that man is born unto labor, that it's the fate of a human being to have to work his entire life. And this goes back to the curse of Adam and Eve. Adam was originally put into paradise, the Garden of Eden, where things sort of grew on their own. And after he eats from the fruit, the curse of Chava, the curse of the woman, was that she would have to give birth to children in pain. In pain, she would labor. Labor literally can mean work, or it could mean going into labor, having children. That childbirth would now be painful, and it wasn't supposed to be before. The curse of the snake, who really is representative of Satan and some kind of metaphor here, but the snake, the animal, the snake is going to crawl on its belly, whereas originally it had legs and walked upright. And the curse of man, which really applies to all human beings, right? Men and women are really both included in Adam, and the human. That's what Adam means, is to, by the sweat of your brow, you will eat bread, right? You have to work really hard. And if we think we're removed from this because we're not farmers, right? A lot of people in Kansas are farmers, but it's really the same, because you have to do backbreaking labor. You have to work at your job in order to buy food from the supermarket that someone else farmed. So there's just a middleman, but the curse of Adam is really still very much alive. The best you could do is put a middleman. So by the sweat of your brow, you will make money to buy food that someone else grew, but it's still pretty much the same. So human nature hasn't changed. And we haven't figured out a way to overcome that curse. Now, so a theological explanation of how taking upon yourself the yoke of Torah removes that curse is that the Torah, which is the revelation from above, which is divine, is sort of a taste of Gan Eden, is a taste of entering the Garden of Eden. and that's the only way to transcend the mundanity of human experience. It's a very nice idea that when you immerse yourself in Torah, now that's the only way to re-enter Eden and remove yourself from the curse of Adam. Now it bears mentioning that even before Adam was cursed, it says he was placed in the garden of Da'u l'shamra in order to work it and to guard it. So work was always part of man's destiny. It's not actually a curse. That it's and there are other Mishnahs in Pirkei Avot that talk about how it's a wonderful thing to work and to be good at your work and to be productive. It was the original fate of Adam of Da. It says explicitly that he was going to work the garden. He wasn't just going to sit back and enjoy everything. So the commentaries make clear apparently what the curse contributed is the sweat of your brow, that you're going to have to work really hard, right? So there's a sweet spot that before man was cursed, it was actually enriching and uplifting to work in the garden. But if you picture a beautiful day in the garden where the weather's nice and you're not working too hard, and there's a sweet spot where you do work and feel productive, but it's not backbreaking. And the curse of man is that no, now you're going to have to work by the sweat of your brow, and it's going to be really hard. So, of course, there's so much metaphor here and hard to delve into the exact meaning, but that is basically that is the basic aspect of it. So we'll say the prayer following the study of Mishnah once again for those who have yard site for both today and tonight, the 8th and 9th of Sivan. Ana Adonai malei rachmim asher biyadcha nefesh kol chai v'ruach kol basar ish yena l'ratzon lefanecha toraseinu tfilaseinu ba'avor nishmas gittel bas Abraham v'yas kol haskaros shel hayom v'shel halayla u'gmolna imahem b'chastika agadol liftoch lahem shari rachmim b'chesed b'shar gan Eden u'skabelo sam ba'avo v'chibo shlach lahem malachecha akadoshim v'tahorim lo'lichom lo'shivim tachas eitzachayim eitzel nishmos hatzadikim v'tzidkanios chasidim v'chasidos lehenos miziv shchinascha la'aspia mitucha atzafim hatzadikim Guf yanuach bekever b'menucha nechona v'chedfa v'simcha v'shalom. K'dichsiv yavo shalom yanuchal mishkavasam holech nechocho. Uksiv yalzu chasidim b'chava diranul mishkavasam. Uksiv im tishkav lo sifchad v'shachavta v'arva shnasecha. And in English, please, O Hashem, full of mercy, for in your hand is the soul of all the living and the spirit of every human being. May you find favor in our Torah study and prayer for the souls of Herman Dubin, Ida Feingold, Anna Glassman, Laura Godler, Shayna Goldman, Paul Kaplan, Rose Kessler, Joseph Kreichman, Eve Turner, Gertrude Walowski, who is Gittel Bas Avram in Hebrew, Max Zaltzman. And the art sites for tonight, Abe Boguslavsky, Jesse Friedman, Sarah Goldman, Earl Goodbinder, Bessie Haith, Sam Katz, Hania Kocharov, Harry Kolkin, Gertrude Slobosky, and Jacob Tager, in whose memory we study and pray. Accept them with love and affection, and send them your holy and pure angels to lead to settle under the tree of life near the souls of the righteous and devout, to enjoy the radiance of your presence, to satiate them from your good that is concealed for the righteous. May their body repose in the grave with proper contentment, pleasure, gladness, and peace, as it is written, let him enter in peace, let them rest on their beds, everyone who has lived in his proper way. As it is written, let the devout exult in glory, let them sing joyously upon their beds. And as it is written, if you lay down, you will not fear. When you lay down, your sleep will be sweet. Amen.